What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's going on with the overall market, what you should be watching for as time progresses, what's happening with some very important earnings coming out very soon, and why tomorrow is going to be a massive, massive day as we have the FOMC meeting. We have Jerome Powell giving another speech at the press conference. And we're going to be finding out more information about the Fed's future monetary policy. But before I break anything down about all this information, before I get into any more details about what's happening to the markets, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. This offer ends in just about 6 hours from now, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market. So, looking at the market, SPY was up 0.63% for the day, and Tesla managed to close above 200. So that's a very, very good sign for Tesla. However, we're not necessarily in the clear because everything could change tomorrow depending on what Jerome Powell says and depending on what happens with the markets. So I'm going to break down more information about the FOMC meeting over the next couple of minutes, but let's first talk about some factors affecting the markets. So right now, the fear and greed index is on fear mode. It's not extremely fearful like before. And our different technicals are suggesting that the market is very oversold and we're due for a bounce very soon. You can see this is also showing on the stock price strength report. Also looking at the breadth right over here from the McCullen Volume Summation Index, they're telling us that the market is in a bottoming process and there's likely going to be a bounce very, very soon. Now, on top of this, as the market is making attempts to bounce now, we have even more earnings coming out. We just had AMD's come out for now. AMD's shares have fallen 4% in the after hours following the Q3 earnings as of right now. EPS was a beat, revenue was a beat, but their guidance was not the strongest. There was an an estimated change for it, and this could lead to some downside moving forward. So we're going to be waiting very, very patiently for what else is about to come with AMD. So I'm just going to wait for that for now, but I just want to talk about something else that's even more important for the markets. All right, earnings are not that huge yet until we get to like Wednesday/Thursday. I would say more towards Thursday since we have like Apple's earnings. But for now, we're going to be focusing on all of this. We have some manufacturing and JOLTS job openings data coming out for the first 30 minutes of the day. And that's pretty much it for data in the morning. Now, what could happen is the market's going to be a little volatile for the first 30 minutes thanks to the manufacturing numbers. And then what tends to happen during FOMC days is the market is very, very boring, very sideways, going back and forth, and nothing really happens, starting like after the first 30 minutes, approaching the rate hike decision. And then what's going to happen after that is at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the rate hike decision coming out. That's when the Fed is going to make a very important decision about their monetary policy and their stance on the future. The Fed is also going to give us their projections for the future rate hikes, if they're going to give more or not, if they're projecting more. So we're going to be very patient to see how this affects the market. This could cause the market to fall if the Fed is hawkish, or it could cause the market to bounce. We're going to be waiting very patiently. Then at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we have the Fed press conference where Jerome Powell is going to be giving a very, very big speech. He's going to be also in a Q&A session at the very end, giving more insights on what's going on with the Fed's monetary policy. And that is going to be very important. Now, what he says is going to shake the whole market, and it's going to determine, will the market continue to pump, or is the market going to see some downside? We're going to be patient. The real move doesn't always happen immediately. Sometimes it happens the next day. So we're going to just wait and see what Powell ends up saying. We're just going to be very open-minded to anything just to be safe, right? This article is saying that everything is going to be on Powell. All eyes are going to be on Jerome Powell's commentary, whatever this guy ends up saying. We have to be ready for it. We have to be prepared for anything. Who knows what Powell is going to say this time around? So moving forward for earnings, just as a reminder, like I was saying, today we have AMD, First Solar, and just a couple of others, nothing too big for Tuesday. But for Wednesday, we have PayPal and Roku after the market closes. And for Thursday, we have Aapl after market close as well. So let's just be ready for all of these. Wednesday is going to be interesting as well, but not as impactful as the FOMC meeting, in my opinion. I think it's going to trump all of those earnings, and we'll just be very patient. The S&P 500 has closed higher for Tuesday. This is the first time we actually got a decent day like this, at least two decent days in a row like this. I mean, Uh, but the thing about this is you have to remember that we've been on a 3 month losing streak, and this is like the one of the biggest 3 month losing streaks since like 2020. So this in turn is going to be important because it's very unlikely we're going to get 4 months of losing in a row, and it's very probable that we're going to have a green month for November. So I'll be watching for that moving forward. That's it for now. Now let's just focus on the charts. What's going to likely happen? It's very simple. So looking at SPY, we have this gap all the way down here to about this 410 area. If Powell causes a rug pull, we could come down to fill the gap and then bounce. That could happen. There could be a fake drop coming, or the market could just continue to push up very very hard. It could even be a mix of both, where we kind of like come down a little bit, we drop down, then we get a big bounce, or we just keep going. I honestly can't predict this, guys. It's very difficult to predict. But just know, approaching the big events, the market is going to likely see high volatility in the morning. Then we're just going to trade sideways for Tuesday, approaching the rate hike. If they pause, that could be decent, but we're going to be waiting to see what they announce. So at 2 o'clock p.m., the rate hike decision comes out, and at 2:30 p.m., the press conference with Powell starts. We will see what happens. I mean, I honestly can't predict what Powell's going to say. If we're really bearish, watch this gap down here. If we're bullish, let's see if we can break 420. You never know. Sometimes crazy things could happen where we just like drop super hard to fill the gap and then we bounce afterwards. It could be crazy. Maybe we just leave the gap and we just keep going. But here's the bottom line. Even if the market sells off, even if that happens, I still believe the market's going to rally for November. November is going to be a green month. Even if the market continues to pump, that's going to support the narrative that the market has more upside. Either way, regardless of what happens with Powell, I think that SPY is going to eventually make its way up to 425 plus. I think there's more upside coming. And I believe the market's going to bounce anyways later into November. All right, so I see upside anyways. We'll just have to wait and see what Powell causes. It's basically impossible for me to give you guys like a perfect prediction of what Powell's going to say. So the best thing to do is just be prepared, and we'll watch it in real time as time goes on. If Powell causes a rug pull, watch the QQQ come down towards 345. If he pumps the markets, watch us push for at least 355 towards these imbalances up here. What might happen is we see high volatility in the morning, then sideways price action as time goes on. Then when the rate hike decision comes, depending on what the Fed says, we'll be waiting for that. And then with the sideways price action, expect some high volatility after Powell comes out, and we'll see what the guy causes. Sometimes you never know. Now, AMD is a little red as of right now at the time of recording this. This could cause Nvidia to drop just a little bit. It's probably not going to be too serious, and I think that the real move is going to happen tomorrow, depending on Powell. Tomorrow, we might see this thing drop a little bit, then trade sideways and see very sideways price action, just like the whole market, approaching the big meeting. And then when the rate hike decision comes, we'll see what that causes. If Powell is hawkish, Nvidia could come down towards 395 all over again and then break below that. If Powell pumps the markets, expect 420 plus. We will see what happens for Nvidia. Be very patient and be open-minded, of course. For Aapl, we have this channel that we're still below. If Powell pumps the markets, we could see us re-enter this channel and see Aapl hit 171.5. If we're bearish, we're going to be watching 168, maybe even 166 if we break below that. It all depends on Jerome Powell. Expect sideways price action in the morning and then a big move after that, depending on what Powell says. And then for Tesla, if Powell pumps the market, Tesla could push up for 206 plus. Definitely, it could happen quite easily if we get a nice push. If we get a bearish outcome and Powell gives us the rug pull, we could see Tesla come down towards the 200 EMA on the weekly time frame, around 196. So that's why you want to be looking at the weekly chart. So let me just pull up the weekly. You can see Tesla's weekly was looking like this, right? Sorry, not the monthly. The weekly. If we end up testing this again and we break below this, we're going to turn bearish. As of right now, we haven't truly broken this, so we're just going to be very patient. The weekly on SPY is also showing a potential reversal being possible, but we have to wait for Powell. Same thing on the IWM. The weekly looks bullish, but just to be safe, we're going to be very patient. Same thing with Aapl weekly. The weekly is looking kind of bullish too. It's looking bullish throughout like all these different stocks, even like the QQQ and etc. But just to be safe, we're going to have to be waiting very patiently for what Jerome Powell causes. Now, on Microsoft, if Powell gives us the rug pull, right? I anticipate it's going to retest the 200 EMA at 134 and then maybe even break below that. If we're bullish, watch for this imbalance to fill and us to get very close to 340. The odds favor this thing bouncing and pushing up for 340 very soon because on the daily, we're on a very, very nice uptrend. So let's hope we get some more upside. Let's hope that Jerome Powell pumps, or at least even if the market comes down, that could be like a buying opportunity for a pump. But I see upside for the market anyways, but we're just going to be waiting to see what Powell causes. Nvda is currently down in the after hours for earnings. So we will see if this continues. Moving forward on the VIX, we're going to be watching, see if the VIX gets a bullish cross in the PPO and if the VIX starts pushing up or not. So just be very patient. We'll see what Jerome Powell causes. For Coinbase, this looks like it wants to actually pump towards this very important level. So like we came very close to this 78 area. So if we get a pump from Powell, we could see almost 80. If Powell gives us the rug pull, I expect it to come down towards 75 all over again. We're just gonna have to wait and see. I think Google is a very good buying opportunity because this thing is just the drop that happened after its earnings is a complete exaggeration. It's forming a bullish divergence as well, and I think that we have a lot of imbalances to fill. But just to be safe, if Powell gives us the rug pull, watch for 120 on Google. If he pumps us, watch this thing eventually make its way up to 130. My guts tells me, regardless of which way it goes, we're gonna head towards 130 over the next couple of trading days, if not another week or so from now. So I do anticipate some upside, anyways. For Amazon, for bullish, watch for 135 plus. For bearish, watch it come down to 128. From a technical standpoint, it looks like it's trying to push up towards this imbalance, forming a nice bullish divergence, and I think that it could get very close to 135 plus and then 138. For Meta, not looking the strongest, very flats today. We were talking about this thing potentially coming down a bit. It came down, just traded sideways. So we'll be watching to see if Powell pumps this thing towards this imbalance at 310, or if we get a rug pull and we come right back down towards 290. We're going to be watching very carefully. So that's all I can really say, guys. We'll see what Powell causes. Expect the market to do some high volatile moves in the morning, right? When all this data comes out, then expect some sideways price action as time goes on. The market may not move very much. And then after we do the sideways price action, anticipate a very big move depending on what Powell says. We will see if he causes some kind of pump or not. So just be as patient as possible. All right. So thank you for listening. Have a great day, guys. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and peace out.